spent the last 5 years fixing my life. And I ended up neglecting the things that I was passionate about, the things that were most important. I was a bear to be around. I wasn't creative. I didn't fish. And so this year was interesting because we always go on a trip to Wisconsin and we'll spend some time fishing, and usually when that's over, that's the end of my season. But for whatever reason this year, I bought my fishing license in Illinois it was in late August or early September, thinking that I wasn't even going to use it. And I went out after I would normally call it quits. I mean, later than I had ever gone out in the past 5 years. I found a pond that was nearby, and I went out and I got skunked, but something happened and I had to go out again. And so I took a frog, which I never fish, and I caught a nice bass that second morning after I had been skunked. It made me want to go again. So I started going back to the pond again and again and again. And this year, I caught more fish at the end of the season than I had caught in previous years throughout the entire year fishing in Illinois.
All right, I stand corrected.
Pretty cool. And so the question I started to ask myself was, what changed? What changed?
Tomorrow morning, we're gonna head out again, and it's 6 o'clock on October evening in Illinois. And tomorrow morning, we're gonna get out and see if we can catch another froggy fish. That would be fun.
So all of a sudden, I catch more fish in the last month and a half of the year than I do in previous years. I started keeping a journal in 2014, and I noticed that each year I was fixing my life and making improvements. All I was doing was working more and neglecting things more. So I wasn't getting out. I wasn't doing any fishing or any of that. I was only working. I was just nose down constantly, which is good, it's important. But it was unhealthy. What I was doing was unhealthy, and it was killing me, and I was miserable. So at the end of this year, I got out more in a month and a half, in 6 weeks, and I was excited about it, and I wanted to get out more. What changed? Well, I started to get confidence in baits that I hadn't used before, and I started to define the behaviors that were really important to me. So there's a difference between behaviors and tasks. Behaviors are things that we want to do. They define who we are. I have these behaviors. A task is something that goes on a list and you can complete it and check it off. I want to paint the garage. I want to clean this mess of a basement. Those are tasks. They're two very different things, but if you don't understand the difference between the two, you can't define the behaviors that you want to obtain and then start to work towards those things. So I want to work out more often. I want to eat healthier. I want to be a better dad. I want to schedule time with my kids. I want to fish more. Those are behaviors. That's the good stuff that makes us who we are. And those are the things that we can improve and change. But we have to define them. If we don't define them, if they're just on a task list with all of our other tasks, we think, well, we're going to go do that thing and check it off, and now I'm going to move on to the next thing. And then I better reschedule this. Pick the behaviors that you want to acquire, and you can start to incorporate them in your life. And so when it came to fishing, one of the things I realized was that I need to keep it simple. In the past, I would take and I would plan and plan and plan, and let's say I'd have maybe a 2-hour window to fish. I'm gonna use a popper or a frog for 15 minutes, I'm gonna use a jerkbait for 15 minutes, I'm gonna drag a jig for 15 minutes, I'm gonna use a net or a plastic for 15 minutes, I'm gonna maybe switch to a wacky, and then I'm gonna repeat. And it would never happen. And I would actually plan so much that I just wouldn't even get up and go. But when I simplified everything, when I minimized my equipment and I minimized my presentations, and I said, these are the 2 things I'm taking tomorrow. Or in the case of the first day I went out, that frog, this is the 1 bait I'm taking. It made it so much easier to get up and go and get a couple of hours of fishing in and be successful. And it made me realize something. All of this is really neat, but it's too much. It's too much. It's confusing, and if you shove it all in a backpack and you go, or if you write a plan like this and you think you're gonna go out and you're gonna work 8 different presentations in the course of an hour or 2, it's not gonna happen.
Okay, we are just now ready for another one. It's October 12th. We're gonna go to Braidwood. I'm gonna be throwing a fluke, weightless, and I'm gonna be throwing a Texas rig craw, and that's it. And we're gonna see if we can get anything going. So hopefully, see ya.
I wanted to be better. I wanted to be better for me. I wanted to be better for my family. I wanted to do more, and I wanted to stop neglecting myself and my passions for just work. You know, like I said, I was fixing my life. I was building my business. At what cost? And so if this sounds familiar, this is gonna be useful for you, because what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna start to go through all my mess and my equipment, and I'm gonna start to downsize and boil it down to the most important core essentials, the things that I definitely need. After that first day, when I started going on a regular basis, I would have 2 rods rigged up, more of a power presentation and then the finesse presentation. And with those 2 rods, I could walk the bank, and I was very effective, whereas again, in the past, it was just way too complicated. So if this sounds like something you're struggling with, and it probably is if you've watched this far, then this is gonna be useful for you too. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to define those behaviors. What are the behaviors that we want to incorporate in our life? So for me, it's fishing on a regular basis. It's being a better dad, scheduling time with my kids. See, I want to be a better fisherman so that when I take my kids fishing, I can put them on fish and they don't hate it. It's not torture. So we have to define the behaviors that we want to incorporate in our lives, and then we have to start to discard. Get rid of the extra stuff, minimize, downsize. Now, real quick, when I say I'm gonna work to become a minimalist fisherman, that does not mean I'm gonna tie on a Ned rig or a shaky head in the spring and I'm gonna use it all season long on 1 rod. That's not what being a minimalist fisherman is. What it is I can have all the equipment I want, but when I go out in the field, I need to have a pretty clear game plan on these are the things that I'm going to use and here's why, instead of taking 20 presentations with me and just confusing myself. Or let's say I'm not especially gifted with a jerkbait, or I'm not especially gifted with crankbaits right now. If I want to get better at a crankbait or a jerkbait, I need to take that one bait and devote some time to it so I can get some confidence in it, just like what happened with the frog. Before this year, I had never caught a fish on a traditional topwater, and then all of a sudden it started happening.
Yeah, buddy, come up over. Well, that ain't a real good hook set. Come on. That is a nice fish. Okay, that's a twofer. That's what I'm talking about. Another topwater fish, healthy 2-pounder and change. We like it. There he goes. Hell yeah.
And every time it would happen again, I would get more excited and I would want to go again and again. That doesn't happen if you don't devote time to a presentation. So if I would just go out there and tie on a fluke, which is one of my all-time favorite baits, I'm just using what I'm used to. This is a confidence bait for me.
Keep hooks in them, keep hooks in you. Ooh, yeah. I will go in after you. Come here, come here. Just give me. That's a stud. Fish. All right, buddy. We're up a little bit high, so swim off. There you go. What is on me? Yes, sir.
That doesn't help me grow as an angler. We want to downsize, but we want to also grow. So we want to get better at understanding conditions. We want to get better at understanding bottom composition and what type of presentation would work during this time of the year. Those things are important, but if we don't gain that knowledge, then we can't minimize and only take a few things with us. So I have all of this stuff here. These are all things that I'm going to start to give away. And actually what we're going to do is we're going to give away 1 or 2 of these every video, I think. And what I would ask though is, if I send one to you, if you get one of these, take it out and test it. Take it out and use it, and then let me know how it works, because I'm going to be doing that with the things that I think are going to be effective. But there's so many other presentations that can still be effective, and I'm going to need help testing them out. That's where it would be really great if I send you something, use it. Don't sit on it, don't collect it. The collecting is that's the bad thing. That's what we don't want to do. Take it out and use it, and let me know how it works. Because I have too much stuff. I gotta get rid of some stuff. If you want this, share the video, like the video, tag me, let me know, and we'll do a drawing and we'll send it out to somebody. Help me test these things out so that we can find the baits that are most effective, that are worth our hard-earned money. Because I don't want to go out and have 20 different types of Senkos, 20 different types of toads. So again, being a minimalist fisherman doesn't mean tying on one presentation in the spring and using it all year. It means getting better at understanding water conditions, structure, the time of year, baits that would work in a given period. All of those things so that you can prepare better, but prepare simply. Because it's most important that you go. It's most important that you go and spend time on the water. That's what I experienced this year. Just by going out and being active, it was so much more productive than sitting and trying to plan and go through 500 different presentations and just get analysis paralysis where I didn't do anything. And I got a long way to go. I got a lot of stuff. I got a lot of buildup. I'm gonna start to share this stuff as I clean it so that I can literally grab things and go in about 2 minutes. Just by being able to do that, I know from experience that I'm gonna be able to get more time out on the water, and that's what counts. I got a lot of dungeon to clean, but let's all start to learn a little bit as we go through this and improve so that we can all become better fishermen. All right, at this point I think I just need a pretty good sign off. There's a lot more work to do, and there's a lot of fish to catch. And I think we're gonna have some fun with this. Let's have some fun with it.
Where the shoreline ends and where he's at. Okay, there we go. 5th cast. Little dude. Healthy little bugger. This guy's over here looking at me. Taping myself. Yeah, that's a beauty. He's a healthy little dude. I'm gonna put him back. Wanna give him a kiss? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
I like fish, but not that much.
Yeah. There you go, bud. Yeah, that's cool. That just made my afternoon.
Yeah, beautiful.